This is the story of a mother who ignored every warning sign, a woman who gave second chances when she should have run, a tragedy that everyone saw coming except the person it mattered to most. Cornisha Butler was a 29-year-old mother of four, an entrepreneur, a social media influencer, a woman who seemed to have it all figured out. She had the designer bags, the luxury cars, the trips to different countries. She had a thriving aesthetics business with thousands of followers watching her every move on Instagram and Facebook. But behind the filtered photos and the smiling selfies, Cornisha was living in fear, being stalked, threatened, terrorized by the one person she kept letting back into her life, her ex-girlfriend, Shakia Perkins, the same woman who had tried to run her over with a car, the same woman who set her Mercedes-Benz and Jeep on fire in her driveway, the same woman who sent her text messages promising murder. Cornisha had a restraining order. She had evidence. She had every reason to stay away. But she didn't. And on a day that should have been ordinary, in front of one of her own children, Shakia Perkins made good on her promise. She pulled the trigger. This is the story of Cornisha Butler, a cautionary tale about toxic love, ignored red flags, and the deadly cost of believing someone can change when they've already shown you exactly who they are. This story takes place in Atlanta, Georgia, a city known for its rich history, its influence on culture, its role as a hub of transformation and progress. Home to the busiest airport in the world, Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport. But Atlanta, like any major city, has its dark side. And Cornisha's story is one of those darkness that lurks behind closed doors, hidden in text messages, and dismissed as drama until it's too late. If you're into true crime stories that go beyond the headlines, that dig into the warning signs we all need to recognize, hit that subscribe button. We bring you new cases every single day. Real stories, real lessons, real lives lost. Let's talk about who Cornisha Butler was before she became a headline. Cornisha Butler wasn't just surviving, she was thriving. At 29 years old, she had built something real for herself. She was a licensed esthetician, someone who specialized in skincare, body treatments, beauty services, the kind of business that requires skill, dedication, and hustle. And Cornisha had all three. She had a significant social media presence. Thousands of followers on Instagram and Facebook who tuned in to see her work, her lifestyle, her glow-ups. She posted about her business, about beauty tips, about body positivity, about living your best life. She made good money, enough to afford luxury cars, a pink Mercedes-Benz, a pink Jeep, designer bags, trips overseas, the kind of lifestyle that made people double tap and leave comments filled with fire emojis. But more than anything else, more than the business or the followers or the cars, Cornisha was a mother. She had 4 beautiful children. And according to everyone who knew her, those kids were her entire world. She did everything in her power to make them happy, to provide for them, to give them experiences and opportunities. The bond between Cornisha and her children was deep and unbreakable, especially after tragedy had already touched their lives. One of her children's fathers had passed away not too long before this story takes its darkest turn. His death had shaken the family, brought them closer together, made Cornisha hold her babies even tighter. She was their protector, their provider, their everything. Friends and family describe her as loving, ambitious, generous, someone who worked hard and played hard, someone who loved to laugh, loved to travel, loved to live out loud. But Cornisha also had a weakness. She loved hard, believed in second chances, saw the best in people even when they showed her their worst. And that weakness would cost her everything. 6 years before her death, Cornisha met a woman named Shakia Perkins. They hit it off, so I started dating. At first, things seemed fine, normal, maybe even good. But it didn't take long for cracks to appear. Shakia started showing signs of aggression, possessiveness, control. The kind of behavior that makes friends raise eyebrows and family members pull you aside for concerned conversations. They got into altercations, arguments that turned physical, fights where Shakir threatened Cornisha, made her feel unsafe in her own relationship. This wasn't healthy love. This was toxic, dangerous, destructive. After a couple of years of this chaos, Cornisha decided enough was enough. She wanted out. She tried to end the relationship. Shakir did not take it well. When someone shows you who they are, believe them. That's what people say, right? But Cornisha kept hoping, kept giving chances, kept believing things would get better. Here's something that makes this even more complicated. During her relationship with Shakir, Cornisha had 3 of her 4 children. Not with Shakir, but with other people. That dynamic alone tells you something about the nature of their relationship, the complications, the tensions, the jealousy and resentment that must have been simmering beneath the surface. And Shakir's behavior only got worse. September 13th, 2021, 5:50 in the morning. Cornisha was texting with a friend, telling her about something terrifying that had just happened. Shakir had tried to run her over with a car. Let that sink in. Not a slap during an argument, not throwing something across the room. Shakir tried to hit Cornisha with a vehicle, attempted vehicular assault. Cornisha sent screenshots, photos, evidence of what had happened. Her friend's response was immediate and clear. You need to leave her. This is dangerous. This woman is going to hurt you. But Cornisha didn't listen. Even after being nearly run down like an animal in the street, she stayed. She made excuses. She convinced herself it wouldn't happen again. 2 weeks later, Shakir proved her wrong in the most destructive way possible. September 25th, 2021. Shakir showed up at Cornisha's house, and she came with gasoline and matches. She set both of Cornisha's cars on fire, the pink Mercedes-Benz and the pink Jeep, burned them right there in the driveway. When officers arrived at the scene, they asked Cornisha the obvious question. Who would do something like this? She knew exactly who. Her crazy ex-girlfriend, Shakir. The one who went by SRT on social media. The neighbors had Ring cameras. The police reviewed the footage. Clear as day, there was Shakir's Dodge Challenger pulling into the driveway right before the fire started. Cornisha's cousin had been on her way to visit. She saw Shakir's Challenger leaving the scene. The evidence was overwhelming, undeniable. But here's where it gets even darker. After the fire, Cornisha and Shakir engaged in a text conversation. And the messages Shakir sent should have been enough to put her away for a long time. Shakir wrote, "Okay, pay your insurance. Ask her then. Okay, you worry about me. LOL. Okay, keep talking. Yup, my mind made up. LOL. You'll be soon, so keep talking. That's what I want you to do. I'm going for first degree, not second." And I stamped that. LOL. Yup. It's all fun and jokes until you're scared for your life and show the police these messages. Read that again. I'm going for first degree, not second. Shakir was openly threatening to murder Cornisha. In writing. With laughing emojis like it was all a game. This wasn't a vague threat. This was a promise. And Cornisha had it all documented. It took police until October 4th, but they finally arrested Shakir Perkins. The charges were serious. Grand larceny, aggravated assault, criminal damage to property, terrorist threats. She was locked up, off the streets, away from Cornisha, for 8 days. On October 12th, 2021, Shakir was released, and then silence. For months, nothing was heard from either of them publicly. No more drama on social media, no more police reports, no more incidents. Cornisha seemed to be moving on with her life. She posted on Instagram about her business, about her kids, about traveling. She went on trips to different countries. She made money. She glowed. She smiled. In videos she posted, she looked genuinely happy, unbothered, free. She even posted content about being single and loving it, about being free from anyone trying to control her life. about finally being at peace. Her friends were relieved. They thought she'd finally done it, finally left the toxic relationship behind for good. To the outside world, Cornisha Butler was thriving, living her best life, raising her kids, building her brand, staying far away from the woman who had tried to destroy her. But that wasn't the whole story. Valentine's Day, 2022. To the shock of everyone who knew about the burning cars, the threats, the restraining order, Cornisha and Shakir were back together. And they weren't hiding it. They posted on social media with a new couple name, the Toxics. Let me repeat that. They called themselves the Toxics, like it was cute, like it was a joke, like toxicity was something to be proud of. Shakir posted a message to Cornisha that day. Happy Valentine's Day to my sweet and sour wife. It's us against the world, remember that. 6 years of toxic love. I wouldn't do it with nobody else but you, my love. Cornisha replied with heart emojis and their new nickname, the Toxics. She wrote, I love you. Ready for our date? Shakir replied, I bet. Friends who saw these posts were stunned, confused, angry. This was the same woman who burned your cars, the same woman who tried to run you over, the same woman who texted you about committing first-degree murder. And you took her back? But there was little anyone could do. Cornisha was an adult. She made her choice. And for the next few months, things seemed calm. They were seen together, posting together, living together. Months after the car burning incident, Cornisha posted a photo with one of her sons. They were at the airport, about to board a flight to Philadelphia, with Shakir, the same child she had with another man while she was in a relationship with Shakir. The same dynamic that had caused so much tension before. Days passed after that trip. Then, the posts started. Friends and family began flooding Cornisha's Facebook page, asking if she was okay, tagging her, calling her, trying to reach her. But there was no response, because Cornisha Butler was already dead. She had been murdered, gunned down, in front of one of her own children, and everyone knew exactly who did it. Cornisha's friends couldn't believe it. They kept posting online, hoping somehow she would respond, hoping this was all some terrible misunderstanding. But it wasn't. Cornisha Butler's life had been taken from her, and the person who pulled the trigger was the same person she had taken back despite every warning, every threat, every burned car, and violent outburst. Shakir Perkins. According to investigators, Cornisha had finally tried to end the relationship again. For real this time. She was done. She wanted to move on with her life. But Shakir wasn't going to let that happen. She had made a promise months earlier. I'm going for first degree, not second. And she kept it. Cornisha was shot to death, murdered in cold blood. And the worst part? One of her children witnessed it, her son, the same little boy who had been with her on that trip to Philadelphia, the same child she was trying to protect and provide for. He saw his mother die. The trauma of that moment will stay with him for the rest of his life. Friends and family were devastated, heartbroken, angry. Some blamed Cornisha, said the signs were there, said she should have stayed away, said she made her own choices. Others blamed Shakir entirely, called her selfish, evil, incapable of real love. How could you kill the mother of someone else's children? How could you destroy a family like that? And then there were the questions about money. People started talking about GoFundMe campaigns to help with funeral expenses and support for the children. And that raised eyebrows. Here was a woman who flaunted luxury cars, designer bags, trips overseas, our expensive lifestyle content on social media. And yet, there was no life insurance, no backup plan, nothing in place to take care of her kids if something happened to her. It was a harsh reminder that social media doesn't always tell the whole story. That looking rich and being financially secure are two very different things. But at the end of the day, none of that mattered. Cornisha was gone. Her children were without their mother. And Shakir Perkins was on her way to jail. On November 16th, shortly after the shooting, Shakir Perkins was taken into custody. The charges were severe: murder, possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony, cruelty to children in the third degree because a child had witnessed the killing. She was held without bond. No getting out this time, no 8-day release. She was staying behind bars. As investigators dug deeper into the case, more disturbing details came to light. While Shakir and Cornisha were actively in a relationship, Shakir had been sliding into other women's DMs, flirting, pursuing other people behind Cornisha's back. Screenshots surfaced showing exchanges between Shakir and other women. Proof that she wasn't as committed as she claimed to be, that the whole US against the world narrative was a lie. So let's be clear about what happened here. Shakir burned Cornisha's cars, threatened her life, got arrested, got released, got back together with her, cheated on her, and then, when Cornisha finally tried to leave for good, killed her. This wasn't a crime of passion. This wasn't a moment of insanity. This was a pattern, a cycle of abuse that escalated until it ended in murder. And the most tragic part? Cornisha had a restraining order against Shakir at one point. She had the legal protection. She had the documentation. She had every tool she needed to stay safe. But she chose to go back. She rekindled the relationship. Let Shakir back into her life, back into her home, back around her children. And it cost her everything. Cornisha Butler's story is heartbreaking, infuriating, and far too common. Every year, thousands of people are killed by intimate partners, ex-boyfriends, ex-girlfriends, spouses who refuse to let go. The signs are always there: the threats, the violence, the obsession, the refusal to accept that the relationship is over. And yet, people go back. They give second chances. They believe love can fix what's broken. Sometimes they're right. Sometimes people do change. Sometimes relationships heal. But sometimes going back is a death sentence. Cornisha had every warning imaginable. She was nearly run over. Her cars were burned. She received text messages explicitly threatening murder. Her friends told her to leave. Her family was worried. The police arrested Shakir and charged her with serious crimes. And still, Cornisha went back. Why? Maybe she loved Shakir. Maybe she believed she could save her. Maybe she was manipulated, convinced that things would be different this time. Maybe she was afraid. Maybe she thought staying close was safer than cutting ties completely. We'll never know for sure. But what we do know is this: when someone shows you they're capable of violence, believe them. When someone threatens your life, take it seriously. When someone burns your property, assaults you, stalks you, that's not love. That's control. That's danger. And no amount of history, no shared memories, no Valentine's Day posts are worth your life. Cornisha's children are now without their mother. One of them carries the trauma of watching her die. They will grow up with questions, with anger, with a grief that never fully heals. And for what? For a relationship that everyone around her knew was going to end in tragedy? This isn't about victim blaming. Cornisha didn't deserve to die. No one does. But we have to talk about accountability, about recognizing red flags, about having the courage to walk away even when your heart is telling you to stay. Because love should never cost you your life. Shakir Perkins is currently being held without bond, awaiting trial for the murder of Cornisha Butler. She faces life in prison, and rightfully so. But prison won't bring Cornisha back. It won't heal her children. It won't erase the trauma of what they witnessed and what they lost. This was a preventable tragedy. Every step of the way, there were opportunities for intervention, for protection, for Cornisha to choose herself and her children over a toxic relationship. But she didn't. And now, a family is shattered. Our deepest condolences go out to Cornisha's children, her family, her friends, and everyone who loved her. May her memory be a blessing. And may her story serve as a wake-up call for anyone currently in a toxic, dangerous relationship. If someone threatens your life, believe them. If someone shows you violence, leave. If your gut is telling you something is wrong, listen to it. Your life is worth more than a relationship. Your children need you alive. Or not trending as a hashtag. Domestic violence doesn't always end in murder. But when the warning signs are ignored, when restraining orders are lifted, when dangerous people are given second chances they haven't earned, the risk becomes unbearable. Cornisha Butler should still be here. She should be raising her kids, running her business, living her life. But she's not, because she gave one too many chances to someone who had already proven they didn't deserve them. Don't let her story be in vain. Recognize the signs. Protect yourself. Choose life. Thanks for watching. If this story impacted you, share it. Let it be a reminder to someone who needs to hear it. Hit that subscribe button for daily true crime cases that matter. Stories that teach us, stories that could save lives. Stay safe out there. See you in the next one.